Hello again, Jim Dowson here, guest presenter with the Templar Emergency Broadcasting, seeing you through the COVID crisis, which is coming back, it seems. I know that bars in Texas have shut down, a couple of other states in America have done this. In Britain here, Leicester has been put in lockdown. So it's all happening. So who's in here? Who have we got? Good. Scott Rash. Good. You're going to enjoy yourself, Scott. BP. Nice to see you. Alex Catterall. God bless you. My Latin-speaking friend, William Petit. God bless you, William. Nice to speak to you today, as always. John Andrews. Nice to see you, my friend, from Ontario. Bartley Burker. That's good. Glad we could sort you out, my friend. You know, we're always here to sort in and out. No problem. Jonathan Bodine from Canada, God bless you, and your good lady. Les Androkovich, God bless you. Another Canadian. A lot of Canadians. Paul Telford, how you doing? Nice to see you, my friend and dear brother. Donald Pollock, how you doing, Donald? Nice to see you, as usual. Lady Rotha, nice to see Lady Rotha in the room. EMS, good afternoon from Texas. I'm going to tell you a story about Texas in a minute. James Ralph, hello there. Who else we got? Burt Myers. Yep, got that sorted for you. Dan Guerra, good morning, how are you? Another wet morning, I know how you feel. Troy Otto from Florida, he's a lucky guy, he's in the sunshine. TT Foley, hello there, how you doing? Anthony Orballo, hello, how you doing? Joseph where are we? Kenneth Driver, nice to see you, Kenneth. Nice to see you, Popman. Ben Portaglo, hello. Rod Top, how you doing? North Dakota, interesting, good to see you, welcome in. Malcolm Cook, Joseph Taylor, Heisberg, what is this? Heisenberg Kennels. Heisenberg Kennels. I know who you are. Yes, I know who you are exactly. God bless you, nice to see you. Mystic, how you doing? Nice to see you. Marty Gamartin, hello, how you doing? I'm as far as you go, nice to see you. A Newcastle Geordie here, good. You know, one of my grandfathers was, great-grandfathers was from Spennymoor. It's a bit more further south than you. And TT Foley. Okay, excuse me, I got a bit of cough. But I'll come back to that. Now, let's start off as we usually start off, if you don't mind. Yes, I seem to be in focus now, so you can see all my wrinkles. Lucky I'm no vain. With a face like this, how could you be vain? But I'm going to be I'm carrying on in Romans 10, because it's a really good chapter, so I just want to carry on from where we left off yesterday. And we left off yesterday, chapter verse 13, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Well, today we're going to be reading from 14. How then shall they call upon him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. And of course the gospel is a good thing, because regardless of the troubles of the world and what's going on and all these crazies running about pulling statues down and going mad, the gospel is good news. That's what it means. It's the good news that through Christ's sacrifice, death has been defeated. And what better news is there than that? So these troubles we've got on earth at the moment, folks, let's get it in perspective. They're a mere trifling thing. Because if you're in the Lord, one day you'll be taken home to glory. So don't let these things worry you, don't let them get you down. And may God add his blessing to the public reading of his infallible, inspired and inerrant word. Okay. Yeah, Brian Payton saying, Jim, you got a blue hue and colour. That's because I'm an Ulster Protestant, we're all blue. And if you cut us open, we're orange on the inside. I'm only kidding. But today is a special day for many people in the north, because this is the 1st of July. Most people in Britain now don't remember it. But this is the day in 1916 where people charged over the trenches at the Somme. And that was the bloodiest battle in British military history. And they kicked off at 7 o'clock in the morning. And within an hour or so, 55,000 men lay dead on the battlefield of the Somme. The Ulster Division was one of the few divisions that took its position, Thiepval Woods, but had to retreat because nobody else made it up there. So they had to come back. So the whole sacrifice was in vain. And the Ulster Division lost 5,500 men dead or wounded in a few hours. on that morning. So there's a huge remembrance here. Most people in Britain have one Remembrance Day, which is the 11th of November, Armistice Day. In Northern Ireland we have two. We have the 1st of July and Remembrance Day. Most Ulster people prefer the 1st of July one, but because of this wretched COVID, all the big processions and parades and celebrations and things like that and commemorations are all called off. Well, not called off, but scaled back. So we had one this morning at 10 o'clock. We're having another one in roughly an hour and a half's time. I'll be there, obviously. But we do remember it because it's such a horrible scar. And you know, in my own war memorial in my own village here, there's 3 boys called Donaldson, 3 brothers. On the 1st of July 1916, one shell came over their trench and killed the 3 brothers dead. When they went to tell their mother that she had lost her 3 sons, she had 5. She says, well, there's don't worry, I have another 2 here. In a year or so they can go if the war's still on. And they said, no, we'll take no more of your sons. But what kind of fighting spirit is that? We don't have that anymore. There's a woman just told her 3 sons or 3 boys that she reared and nursed as babies and as children. 3 are young boys, not one of them 20, were all dead on the Somme. And she offered up her other 2. That's the way people used to be. That's the guts and the backbone people used to have. Oh, for days like that again. Oh, for mothers like that again that raised warrior sons, not namby-pamby weirdo metro males, but the mothers that raised sons with rods of iron as backbones. And where does that come from? It comes from your mother. It's your mother installs that in you, and your father nurtures it. We don't have that anymore. We've got men now that are as weak as water, can do nothing. And that's why there won't be another war in Europe, because nobody's fit to fight. They couldn't punch their way out of a paper bag. And that's what the problem is. And of course, that's the way the feminists and the liberals want it. They want everybody to be so effeminate and weak that nobody can fight. But imagine it, in those days, there's a woman, 3 dead sons. Never say, we don't bring our bodies home like the Americans. The boys are still buried in Flanders Field. And I go there most years to pay my respects. It's almost like a day of holy obligation for us. And there's normally about 35,000 Ulster people go there to pay respects. And up until recently, because of the troubles in Ireland, the Catholic community, who also, they lost actually more than us in the 16th Division. It was just erased from their history. It was erased. If you fought for the British, you didn't get a pension, you didn't get anything. It was very, very nasty stuff. But now they're coming round to the idea that, look, most people fought not for ideological reasons, they just fought because they had no job and they couldn't eat. And a lot of Irish men died, gave their life. The 16th Division were a famed division for their bravery and valour, and a lot of them fell at Guillemont and Vimy Ridge. I've been up there. And the leader, one of the leaders of the Irish Catholic groups, his brother fell in the Somme and was carried off the battlefield by a Protestant from the 36th Division. He was carried off over his shoulder and he was shot as well, but he survived. And I've been there and I've laid wreaths for both the 36th Ulster Division, the Protestants, and I've laid wreaths for the Irish 16th Division, Catholics. And all the wreaths say the same: no more brothers' wars, no more. We've got more people to fight with now than fighting with each other. Maybe once we beat the Muslims and we beat the Africans and we beat the Liberals and we beat the Rainbow Alliance, we can get back to good old-fashioned fighting each other in peace and be left alone here. No, I hope we never go back to fighting each other. It's no good. So, excellent. So just remember this day, 1st of July. This is long before the Americans entered the war, of course. First war. But it was a horrible war, and we British, we lost 780,000 men. It's a lot of people. In an American context, that would probably be about 5 million. So can you imagine if you lost 5 million, America? It's devastating. It's such a mental scar on us. But that's the way it is. Now, also I want to tell you, is Frank in the room today? Did anybody see Frank? Big Frank from Texas? No? Well, for a couple of people, I've seen some people in Texas, and I was walking down the street yesterday. And a woman, because we talk to each other here, we're not living in London. We talked to each other, and a woman said, "How are you doing? Who are you?" And I says, "Myself." And she introduced herself, and she had a dog and everything. It's all very interesting. I says, "You have a funny accent, missus." She says, "I've been living in Texas for 27 years, but I've came back to my homeland, as people do." I said, "Where were you living in Texas?" She says, "Oh, you wouldn't know. It's the outskirts of Houston." I says, "Well, I know Houston quite well. I've been there with the Templars quite a lot." She says, "A wee place called Katy." I says, "Away with you. I've stayed in Katy. When I go over with the Templars, I stay in Katy." I says, "There's a church I go to just a mile up the road from Katy in Pattison." Now, remember how big America is. So, we're down to Houston, and then we're down to a wee tiny village on the outskirts of Houston, and we're down at a nothing village, just a couple of houses called Pattison. She went, no way, I've been to that church 20 years ago. Can you imagine that? What kind of world is this? So there's a woman in my wee village in the middle of Northern Ireland who's just come back from Katie and Pattison, where Big Frank Bukovitz and some of your other guys. Aye, Spider, you know what I'm talking about, Katie and Pattison. This woman in our village lived there for 27 years and she's back here now. What is the chances of that? It's quite incredible. It's quite incredible. So, yeah, I've seen that, Alex. The army has been banned from taking the knee. Quite right. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful that people are taking the knee. It's outrageous, but that's what we're putting up with now. So listen, I want to give you some stories today that should raise a smile, or raise your blood pressure, because it's raised my blood pressure. Listen to this. Black Jesus painting will be installed in one of the UK's oldest cathedrals. Yep. One of Britain's oldest churches is paying tribute to Black Lives Matter, the movement, by installing a version of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper with Jesus recast as a black prophet. So Jesus has now been blacked up. I thought they were against all this blacking up. They're not against all this. People, they're against all this. Now they've got Jesus doing it. So they blacked Jesus up for this new picture painting of the Last Supper. I'm sure black fellas might be very offended, because he might have been a wee bit darker than me, Jesus, where he lived, but he certainly wasn't black. This is ludicrous. I quote, the church is not in a strong position to preach to others about justice, racial or otherwise, but our faith teaches that we are all made equally in the image of God, true, and that God is a God of justice, true, the Reverend Geoffrey John, Dean of St Albans, said in a recent statement. In an effort to reconcile centuries of European colonisation, the Archbishop, who's Justin Welby, recently asked Church of England officials to consider strong likelihood that Jesus Christ of Nazareth was not white, but black. This is the Archbishop of Canterbury. This is like the Anglicans' Pope. And he's just like the Catholics' Pope, mad as a brush, mad as a hatter. So he reckons that people from the Middle East are Negroes. Strange. He went further by challenging churchgoers to embrace the many representations of Jesus, regardless of the Messiah depicted ethnicity. It just gets better, doesn't it? These people are actually clinically insane. They're very unwell. They're not well people. They need to be treated in some kind of institution with maybe drugs or shock treatment. I don't know what to do nowadays, but these people have lost their minds. They have actually lost their minds completely. So this is the this guy Welby. He's a chinless, snivelling, pencil-neck worm of a man. He is the leader of the world's Anglican Communion, which is 300 million strong. So, this is no backroom play. This is a big outfit. But the good thing is most of the Anglicans in Africa will have none of this. They won't allow women bishops or gay clergy. They won't allow it. And most of the world's Anglicans now are black themselves. But I can tell you, they won't be enamoured to this, because the black Anglicans are actually okay. They're quite orthodox and quite solid in their belief system. They won't like this one bit. Was that boy in South Africa that caused all the bother? Remember that bishop that was running about with Nelson Mandela?
Bishop Tutu.
Tutu. Was he no Anglican?
Yeah.
Aye. Desmond Tutu, he's an Anglican in much the same vein as these boys. But let me tell you, most Anglicans in Africa and elsewhere in the world are okay. They're actually okay. I know in America they're cracked. Most of them are mad. The Episcopalian Church start raving with all sorts of weirdos presiding in it. So, but this is just ridiculous. And as I say, I think it's an insult to black people. And I'm sure black people won't be happy that they're blacking up Jesus. Crazy. Have you heard any black people demanding this? It's just mad white liberals. What do they call this? Virtue signalling. Virtue signalling imbeciles. The black fellas are probably laughing at them, thinking they've lost the plot. The crackers have cracked. That's what these people are, crackers, in every sense of the word. Right, now, I also want to bring you on to, if you think you've got troubles in your country with your broadcasting networks, you should try being in Britain with the BBC. The British Broadcasting Corporation. And can I just tell you something, ladies and gentlemen? When the BBC was started, it was run by a Scots Presbyterian. Oh, a real fire and brimstone man. And he's got above the door of the BBC, "This is done unto the glory of God." And he's seen the BBC broadcast as a thing, a tool that the kingdom could be preached and that sinners could be brought to the Saviour. That's what he envisioned. Now you switch it on and there's people with purple hair and they're non-binary and I don't know what they are. And it's just left-wing propaganda, BLM propaganda, LGBT propaganda. How that man must be spinning in his grave. But here's an interesting tidbit in case you don't know it. If any's want to punch in the old BBC headquarters and look at the front doors, the big white marble building, there's statues each side and all these other statues. The guy carved that was a guy called Gill. I think it was Gill. They called him Gill. And he carved semi-pornographic statues and it raised an eyebrow in the 1920s. But since then it's all come out because he kept a meticulous diary that he had sex with all his children, boys and his girls. He had sex with them all and kept a very detailed diary of all the sexual deviant things he'd done to these children, his own children. Where's the shouts and howls to pull these statues down, folks? Did you know that, brother? No. You did not know that? Oh yes, I watched a documentary on it quite recently. So if you don't believe me, punch it in. I think his name was Gill. The guy who'd done the architecture for the BBC building, he is absolutely exposed as having sex with all his children. He was a paedophile monster. Nobody's going round to the BBC headquarters and pulling those statues down, are they? No. But you're want to pull down Winston Churchill and Robert E. Lee. It's ridiculous. But that's what we're up against because he was a lefty. He was a lovey. He was a bohemian. So Bohemians, it's okay if they rape their own children, boys and girls. That's okay because he's one of us. He's a bohemian. He's a left-wing artisan. Makes you sick with these people. Their level of hypocrisy is mind-numbing. But that's a fact. That's not made up. That's a fact. You can go and look into it yourself. And I'm sure if you do, especially the Brits out watching this, you'll be utterly, utterly shocked when you see that this is actually true and real. And nobody's doing that. And you know, the last time I went into BBC, they tried to ambush me. And they got me on like a top morning programme with the top Rottweiler interviewer to rip into me why I was supplying bulletproof vests to Christians in Kosovo. But I went in there and they thought I was going into the Lion's Den. But before I went in there I said, "Lord, don't have any words coming out of me. You supply the words through the Holy Spirit." And I ripped it to shreds because I've got the truth in my side. They have lies and deception in their side, so they're going to lose every time. And they were on about racism and all the rest of it. And I looked about and I said to this top BBC official, I said, "You'd call me a racist? The only black faces I see in this building are men with uniforms opening doors for you. Look at the place. Every black person is in a uniform and they're security guards. They're opening doors for white guys like you and me. I ain't seen none of them behind cameras. I don't see any of them on the computer desks. Hundreds of workers here. The only black guys are outside opening the doors for white guys like you and your bosses." So they're just full of contradictions and rubbish, the whole lot of them. Well, before I go into this now, I forgot again, didn't I? Like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, comment below or I'll get into terrible trouble. And remember, share the videos. Okay, let's have a look at this BBC, what they're up to now. And the only channel I know worse than the BBC is that, what's that mad one that keep going on about Trump?
CNN.
CNN, good grief, they're mentally ill. They're demented. They're crazy people. You know, in our office in Serbia, there's not much Western TV, but we get CNN. I wish we didn't. And you wake up at 7 in the morning and you put it on. Donald Trump's done this. The ice cap's melting. It's Donald Trump's fault. The Titanic sank 1912. Donald Trump had something to do with it. Oh dear. We go to work. We come back in at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. We put it on. Donald Trump, the white rhinos in Africa are disappearing, but Donald Trump's got something to do with it. There's a war in Darfur. Donald Trump caused it. It's just constant. It never ends. It's just constant. So I would think, yeah, CNN are probably slightly more crazy than the BBC. But remember, you don't pay for CNN. The British taxpayers pay for the BBC. What's that television licence now? It's about 200 quid. It's more than that. Oh, it's nearly 200 quid. It's about 200 bucks for a TV licence. And you must have one or you go to jail. In fact, the reason that women are in jail, out of the people, the women, females in Britain who are in jail, most of them are in jail for TV licence evasion, not paying their TV licence. So it doesn't matter if you don't watch BBC, you don't watch telly. if you have a device in your house that is capable, you don't necessarily use the television, but if it's capable of receiving the TV, you have to pay $200 a year. That's true. Everybody in Britain. So we pay for the BBC, so they're immensely wealthy. So they've just announced BBC are now ploughing £100 million, which is $150 million, into, as if it's no diverse enough, into diverse and inclusive content to appease Black Lives Matter. Are you joking? Every time you put the BBC on, there's more black faces and Asian faces than there is us. Now, they say they make up 10% of the population, so their representation on TV should be 10%. It's not. It's about 40 or 50%. So they're already overrepresented by a factor of 4. Anyway, they say this...
King Arthur was black?
King Arthur. Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
And Achilles?
Yeah, Achilles, yes, I forgot about that. I forgot. The BBC have told us this. So King Arthur of the Round Table, Sir Lancelot, and Guinevere and all that. King Arthur was black. Yes, King Arthur was a Negro. Yes. And Achilles, the famous Achilles, was also a black gentleman. Greek black gentleman. Yes. So, did you not know that? Oh, please, you have to brush up on your history, folks. So, it says here, the senseless killing, that's the BBC, the senseless killing of George Floyd, and what it tells us about the stain of systematic racism, has a profound impact on all of us. It's made us question ourselves about what more we can do to help tackle racism. Well, let me just stop the BBC statement here. Get off our backs, leave the white people alone, that would help. Continuing, and drive inclusion within our organisation and in society as a whole, explained the BBC Director General, the Lord Hall of Birkenhead. Yeah. Somebody's saying they don't have a TV licence, but I'm saying nothing. The cops will be around. So Lord, the person who runs the BBC is Lord Hall of Birkenhead. Birkenhead is like Watts. Or what's that other place up north of the real nasty? Flint. It's like Flint or Watts. So the Lord of Birkenhead, Flint or Watts. But he is a wealthy white male and a lifelong member of the House of Lords, the highest seat in the land. He's telling us that we've got too much white privilege. Okay, Lord Hall, hand all the money back that you're getting paid. Give all the money back to the people that you've been taking out of the House of Lords. Renounce your title, sir. We've got to say, oh, hello, Lord Hall. Your eminence, what do you call lords? Your lordship or something? I don't know what you call them. Sir, how are you, sir? Your lordship. Oh, yes. And he's saying, yes, I am Lord Hall. You are a white racist. You're full of white privilege. Now, I must go my private limousine to the House of Lords and sit here pontificating about white privilege. It's outrageous. There's far too much white. Oh, it's lunch served. Oh, we'll get back to that after lunch. Your 12 courses of quail eggs and pheasants and things that normal people know nothing about. Oh, aye, in the House of Lords, your special £200 bottles of wine, that's $300, subsidised by us white privileged folk to the tune of 80%. So he can sit there quaffing quail's eggs, drinking the best of wine at our expense and black people's expense, because black people in this country pay taxes too. He's sitting there drinking their money, eating their money, and then telling me that it's my fault that these black people haven't got enough money. It's him and his ilk, his parasite ilk of left-wing scumbags who have sworn to overthrow the status quo, but then the minute they get a chance to jump into the House of Lords, they take all the free money that's going and big fat jobs like being the Director General of the BBC. What is he doing at the BBC? Nothing. He dents a chair with his fat butt and puts in huge expenses claims on top of the £400,000 or £500,000 he's paid for sitting there saying, oh, that was a big lunch and I drank too much of that $200 wine. Oh dear. Oh, this leather chair is getting a bit saggy. Listen, we want to talk to you all about white privilege. This white privilege is no good, folks. What are we going to do about it? Let's go and slap those white working class people about and tell them to stop their white privilege. Oh, screens went, I think. We'll see if it comes back on again within a minute. I have no faith in it. Wait a minute. Is it back on?
No, it's not back on yet.
It will come back. It will come back on. Don't worry. As part of our drive against white privilege, we're switching off cameras to save energy. Yes. We're blacking up. We're back again. Don't worry. But can you imagine the hypocrisy of this guy? He's a gangster. The man is a gangster. So he's on hundreds of thousands of dollars a year salary. He's a member of the House of Lords, which gets him another few $100,000. He's on subsidised best food cooked by the finest chefs on the planet in the 8 restaurants that he can choose from. And he's telling me, and he's telling you, that we are to blame because of our white privilege for things that's happened. My forefathers never owned slaves. Did yours? But the people who were in the House of Lords, they did. That's how they got there in the first place, because they became wealthy from the sugar and tobacco plantations of the West Indies and the Virginies in America. Who does this guy think he is? Imbecile. Absolute imbecile. Incredible. So the BBC, it gets better. The BBC also for many years offered BAM training. B-A-M-E. BAM.
Black and ethnic minority.
Oh yes, okay, so that stands for, because in Glasgow in Scotland a BAM means an imbecile, a bum, a punk. But it's the same in the BBC, I suppose. The BBC is also for many years BAME, BAME only training, black, African. Black and ethnic minority training only. Opportunities for internship, sometimes paid significantly more than the average full-time job on the minimum wage. So they already discriminate against me. But they're saying we need to stop this discrimination by ramping up discrimination against white folks. Listen, discrimination is wrong. Let me just be very clear here. Discrimination is wrong. Whether you discriminate against a black man or a white man, it's wrong. But what the narrative is now is discriminating against black people is wrong, and ethnic people is wrong, gay people is wrong. However, it is almost your duty to discriminate against white people, Christian people, and especially if they're male. That's the narrative. And they're not even hiding it now. They used to try and dress it up with fancy language. That's gone. No, that's gone. They're just saying white Christian people are the cause of all of the world's problems. They forget that we invented penicillin and wheels and steel and all that. They forget about all that. But anyway, it's all our fault, and we need to pay for it. We need to pay. And that's where we're going with this. I really don't know where it's going to end. Anyway, let's see who's in here. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. I mean, who do you think fought in the Civil War in America? Who were the 600,000 people who gave their lives? How many Africans died in the Civil War? How many out of that 650,000 men who gave their life in the American Civil War to end slavery? How many of those were black? Very few. It was white men fighting white men to save black men. But now we have to pay. We have to pay. I bet if these men in the Union Army could have seen where we were going with this, they wouldn't have bothered turning up. They wouldn't have fought at Gettysburg, Bull Run. They wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have had the march through Georgia. Wouldn't have happened. But it's done now, so we have to live there. Yep. It really is a scary, scary situation. Now, today I want to bring your attention. I think the brother put a link up there for these big Bibles. I think he's put a link up there. It's there anyway somewhere. Please try and get, if you've got any orders outstanding or you want one of these Bibles, please put your name down for it. Or put your name down for one of these. Wait, now, look at that beautiful box. You see that box? How it opens? This is your box, protection box, so you can keep your Bible in there so it doesn't get damaged. But this is the big personal Bibles with that really strange paper, really luxurious paper. You can see that, yeah? It really is beautiful. It's just a piece, it's a work of art. It really is a work of art. Stamped with the Templar motif. And somebody said to me yesterday, why didn't you put the Templar star there? There's no way we would put some other emblem on God's word. There's only one emblem that should be going on God's word, and it's this, the cross. Not a Templar star. No way a Templar cross. The crucifixion cross. We would not dream or presume of putting that on the Holy Book or emblem. You know, we were pushing our luck putting our name on it. But that's about as far as we would go. And again, inside these you've got your Cambridge Bibles, 4 centuries of craftsmanship, your warranty, and it's all there. And there we are. Now, I wonder if this has got yeah, there it is. So there's the royal seal. I want to show you this. That's the royal seal. That's the royal seal. That's the official royal seal. Cannot be copied unless you have permission. So this, I'll just read it, the Royal Seal. Just under the Royal Seal is a bit of text here, okay? This edition is published by Cambridge University Press, the Queen's printer, under Royal Letters Patent. Royal Letters. So this is published and approved by the Queen, the Queen's Department herself. There it's there. You can't use that. You can't use that. That's official. That's the Queen's thing. So can you imagine such a thing? You don't get that from modern Bibles. Whether you like the Queen or you don't, I think it's interesting that you've actually got a Bible that's approved and licensed by the Queen. Quite incredible. So there it's all there, and it's got an introduction to the readers, how this all came about, and what the Bible's made of, and it's fantastic. So if you haven't got one of these, remember they're $179 plus postage. You can pay them up in 3 payments, I think, so please get your hands on one of them. The link is under the video. I don't think we've got time, and the techie guy's not too au fait to stick a link in, so just go below. Eh? Have you put a link for this in? No, you put the link for the big one in. But anyway, this is on below as well. It's called the Personal Bible, okay? And it's just a beautiful, look how flexible it is. Beautiful. Get one of these, because we've got more of these. We have actually got more of these. So I panicked and went out and made a point of getting some. So now people are saying, you better get rid of them. So if you want one, please get one. You'll certainly enjoy it, and it's beautiful. So there we go. It's called the King James Reference Bible. In black calfskin leather with red letter. In fact, I'll show you the red letter because a lot of people say it shows it. Sometimes it's that really red, too bright, it looks very garish. No, this isn't like that. It's that subtle red, you know, very subtle red. Just nice. Nice on the eyes. The bright red that Nelson do in America is too bright. It's no good. Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful Bible. Best Bible I've ever seen. Personal use one anyway. So if you want one of them, please avail yourself of it while they can be found. Well, listen, folks, that's all from me. Let me just have a wee look, see who's saying whatever in here. Yeah, Frank's no pop top. Yeah, the Bible is gorgeous. That's the word for it. It's gorgeous. It's fantastic. Techie guy, big round of applause for the techie guy again. Well done. He's got us through today. The camera keeps clicking off, but we don't know what it is, so we can get it back on. So leave it be. So just leave it. Yes, Jonathan, you're correct. Multiculturalism causes racism. To be honest, you're quite correct. You're quite correct. And these lunatics who are pushing this are going to end up starting a war when there's no war needed. Yeah, the Lords are paid £550 a day just for sleeping in that House of Lords. And all the food subsidised. And by the way, 550 is nothing. They get housing allowance to buy a flat in London so they can attend the House of Lords. So they buy a flat, say, for $1 million, and they're in the House of Lords for 10 years, and then they sell the flat. The flat's worth 2 or 3 million. And then they get all the travel expenses. It's quite ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous what's going on. But there we go. That's the way it is. Yeah, white privilege. Exactly, Shug. White people are busting their guts to pay the taxes, to pay all these people who don't work. Yeah, we're the ones with white privilege, and you've got this fat, lazy lord stuffing his fat face on everybody's taxes, including black people's, but he's telling us that we're doing something wrong and we're full of white privilege. Don't make me laugh. It makes me sick to think about it. Right, that's all from me. Excellent. Each and every one of these. A good rant today. Let's pray for President Trump. By the way, I heard his executive orders that he put in place regarding jail sentences for those who touch statues has officially went into power because it's an executive order. I want to check that out first before I say too much about it. If this is true, thank you, President Trump. God bless you. And let's start locking these criminals, these gangsters, these thugs up for destroying ancient monuments of America, pulling down generals and everyone who served their country best they could. Whether you're on the grey side or the blue side of the Civil War, doesn't matter. These people fought for a country that they deeply loved, and we must respect them. And it's history. It's our history. It's their history. So if this is true, God bless President Trump. But let me look into it and report back tomorrow. I hope it is true, and I hope all these people end up with lengthy jail sentences. And when some of these liberals are put in some of these jails with the brothers, I wonder what their views will be when they come out. Be interesting to see. They'll maybe need some very soft cushioning when they come out to sit down on, if you know what I mean. That's all from me. Remember, I'll be here tomorrow if the good Lord spares me. And until then, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Deus Vult.
The threat is real. And we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the Resistance. Deus Vult.